Hello, everybody. Welcome to another. eh, Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of FanView. Welcome to a brand new episode. We've missed a lot. We've been focusing on the World Cup. Some say this is the best World Cup that has ever been, and some say this is not because they focus on political issues. But I'm here with GB. GB, how are you doing? And how's the World Cup be for you?
Hi everyone, it's GB. Lovely to be here. It's been a while, but yeah. Generally, I think the World Cup has been good. I think we've seen upsets during the group stages. We've seen a few. We've seen one in the round of 16, and yeah. So it's been very good. I would say, yeah. It's been okay.
Yeah. So Spain is out. Germany is out. So big countries are out. I started this interview saying this is the best World Cup ever. Where do you rank this World Cup in all the World Cup you've experienced
I think I would. I
so
would
far?
like to. Yeah. Okay. I think I would like to wait to what happens. Like after this stage, I would like to see what happens during the quarterfinals, semifinals. I think going into the semifinals, then I would know exactly where to rank it. I think from the group stages, it's had a lot of potential to be one of the best. I wouldn't say the best exactly. A lot of upsets. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that the whole Spain group, everybody in the group is out in
Yeah.
the round of 16, and yeah, so yeah, I would say it's been a good one. It's been a good one football wise, and yeah, so many things have happened that I think wouldn't have happened if the World Cup was happening at the end of the season, unlike taking place right in between the season during the season. But it has set it up for an exciting and enjoyable tournament so far. And let's see how it goes before we know exactly where to rank it. Yeah.
Okay, so starting tomorrow by 4 o'clock, Croatia versus Brazil. By 8 o'clock, Netherlands versus Argentina. Then on Saturday we have Morocco versus Portugal, and then we have England versus France. But then before we talk about the quarterfinals and everything, let's talk about what has happened since last time we spoke. Germany went out to the group stage, and they've decided, and the FA has come out and said, "Oh, they're keeping us in flick." Why Spain, who went out against Morocco, have said they have sacked Luis Enrique and signed a new manager. But let's talk about Hansi
No,
Flick.
no, they didn't sack Enrique. He left.
Oh, sorry, he left. Okay, so let's
Yeah.
talk about Hansi Flick first. Do you think the Germany FA has made the right decision keeping him in, or do you think it's not going to work because he's not really that good at international football?
Yeah, I think when it comes to club managers and international football, I think I once posted it on my status. I don't know if you saw it when I was giving a quick analysis of how club coaches are fed at international tournaments, like for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
Did you? I don't know if you saw it. If you saw
Yeah,
when I
I said,
posted about
yeah.
it. Yeah. So we've had the likes of Hansi Flick and then Luis Enrique, and yeah, I think I mentioned one or two more examples. Now I cannot remember exactly because it's not sticking. It's not sticking at the present moment. But what I've observed is we've had issues with club managers not being able to exert that same amount of of control as they used to have, like at club level with the
Mm-hmm.
national team. I would say some of the reasons behind that could be there's less time on the training ground, especially when it comes to the national team. Sometimes it has much to influence, like what's a lot of stuff that influences it is the players you choose, how good, like their abilities, and how do I say, the relationship between yourself and these players. Because sometimes when you're choosing for the national team, sometimes you don't choose based on form. You choose based on the relationship and the trust you have for these kind of players. And then the ability to bring in that full tactical, intensive game into the tournaments mode, especially in the national setup, would be quite different from the setup it is at the club level. And so that's why sometimes you find out that you might have a very top rated club manager not performing as much as expected when it comes into a national team, right? And yeah, I would say, and when you look at some of these international managers, they've not had a successful. They didn't make their names at the club level. If you look at coaches like Didier Deschamps or Gareth Southgate, sorry, or Fernando Santos, Portugal's coach, or even Argentina's coach Lionel Scaloni. This is like his first full-time job as a national manager. He has never coached a club side before, and then yeah, you could see like how well it is. Even Roberto Mancini, I would say one of my coaches I feel like is actually very good out there. The coach of Italy was not even able to get Italy into the World Cup. You know, fine, they won the Euros, but yeah. So I would say Hansi Flick and Germany. I think in this World Cup there was a little bit of bad luck there. I think they played well at some stages, like in terms of chances created and SG and all of that. I think they were up there, but they had scenarios where they could have handled it better, and then probably played better in some particular stages and segments in some games. Like it's like they had control of the ball so many times in games, and then it's like they looked to switch off at just like several parts in the game, and then those were the parts where the games were lost, like, and the points were lost, especially in the loss to Japan, I would say. So yeah, I think with Hansi Flick and with these club managers, you might probably hope that with more time spent together with the same group of players, and then with more time on the training ground and training pitch, whenever they are able to meet for those friendlies or the Nations League or the qualifiers, they'll be able to improve on what they have.
Yeah, some will say Hansi Flick is a one-season wonder. But what's your opinion on that? Do you think he's, because he has only managed Bayern Munich once, and then yes, he won. Did he win the treble or he won Champions League?
He won the Sextuple, even everything.
Oh, yeah, he won everything. But like now in international football, do you think that's the case, or do you think?
No, I don't think it's a one-season wonder. I just think it's sometimes hard for club managers to be able to take that club personality and their tactics and whatever they want to do and translate into the national team. It could be hard. It could be really difficult. I don't see Hansi Flick as a one season wonder. I think for you to be able to win that amount of trophies, it shows you know what you're doing. I'm sorry. I really believe. And in the second season, even though Bayern Munich were not performing so well defensively, in the Bundesliga, I mean, they still won the Bundesliga as they have always done. You know that, right?
But Hansi Flick still only one season at Bayern.
I think he spent the second one before he decided to leave. He did.
Oh, okay.
He spent 2 seasons at Bayern, then he left at the end of the second. Okay. He left at the end before Nagelsmann came in. Yeah. So yeah, I would say it's not. I don't consider Hansi Flick as a one-season wonder in terms of managers. I think if you look back and you check, okay, who are those one-season wonder managers that you've seen? Someone like Di Matteo with Chelsea, that one season when he won Champions League. And I would say Andre Villas-Boas with was Tottenham at that point. And then after that point, it seemed like, okay, he first won like 3 titles with Olympiacos first before coming to the Premier League. And then after, he was not able to get it anymore. So I wouldn't say.
After that,
that was the end. After he went to Chelsea, I mean, that was the end.
Yeah, then he went to Chelsea. He went to Zenit after that and won their league.
So. Yes, and I mean, after the Chelsea stuff, the Zenit and what else? That was like literally the end. And so I wouldn't say Hansi Flick is in that category of managers. If you actually look at it, I don't think he's in such a category. I think it was also the assistant manager of Joachim Löw when they won the World Cup. So I think he actually has some ideas of what to do when he's there, but it didn't just work out. And hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. So have they made the right decision keeping him?
Yeah, I think so. I think with time, I think Germany has a very good crop of players coming out at the same time. I think you can still get a World Cup from Sané and Gnabry. Probably Müller won't be at the next World Cup. But I mean, you have Musiala. You still have You still have Kimmich that will still be there, I guess. You have Schlotterbeck. Yeah, I think he still has some players I could rely on coming into the next Euros or the next World Cup. So yeah, I think if you really look at it, Hansi Flick could still get to grasp with the national team.
Okay, so let's talk about Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique too has left the job, and then you've gotten a new manager. And I don't know, the celebration Hakimi did after scoring the goal was to show reference to Sergio Ramos. According to what we've been seeing online, their celebration and everything. Everybody has said Sergio Ramos should have gone for this World Cup, but then Luis Enrique didn't pick him, and it looked like he was already favoring the Barca side of players and everything. What's your opinion on that?
I don't think Ramos should have gone to this World Cup. I mean, Ramos was not fit before playing this season. I mean, for almost the whole of last season, he wasn't fit at PSG at all. Like he hardly played matches. Well, now he's playing better because I think he has played a number of matches in PSG in this season so far. So I think him not picking Ramos is not the problem that Spain faced. Spain were in total control of most of their matches, right?
Yeah,
Made.
but then what I'm trying to say is, don't you think it's better to have that figurehead, like that player that players can look up to, like someone like Sergio Ramos, like some who argue David De Gea should have gone even if he was not going to start. Oh, you don't think so? You just think?
I really think when it comes to national teams, there is a very high percentage of a manager picking the players that he thinks he trusts and he can really be like he feels he has that relationship with, and then he feels he'll be able to like put his dressing room in the best way he wants it to be projected. And it's fine if people actually say having a figurehead leader like Ramos would help. I think I actually see that point, right? I think that's not a lie. I think that's the truth. That's the truth. Well, I also think another truth is we have to come to terms that Enrique is not picking Ramos probably because he's not seeing him in the best fit for his team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think looking at it well, in terms of I really can't say, right? Because if to really look at it, I think not picking Dia, I think it's not debatable. I think he didn't pick Dia because Dia has nothing to offer him in terms of what he's looking for at all. And I think Unai Simon did well. I think he performed well in the tournament. I really don't care if people say because of Dia. I think he did well. I think he made a couple of really good saves against Morocco. That Morocco could have gone ahead if Morocco even took their chances. If you remember watching that match, I think Simon did some very, very good saves.
Very good saves, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a penalty, right? You really don't have so many keepers being so good at you could be so good at penalties that I don't even catch 1 out of 10. Like that's how difficult it is.
Yeah.
So I think it's stress of not picking Dia. I accept that. And the one of Ramos of being a leader, I think there's some truth to it actually. If you actually look at it, but I would also say I'd like to understand the fact that he didn't pick Ramos because he probably thinks it's not the kind of dressing room or crop of players that he wants. Probably Ramos is not what he wants to see, like what he wants at that moment. And if it's a national team selection, sometimes it's not chosen by form, like I've said. Sometimes just was like the relationship that these coaches have with these players and how much they trust them. I mean, for you to have Gavi and Pedri in your midfield, it means you really trust them, right? For you to have 2 young boys and not up to 20, either of them. I don't know if Pedri is up to 20 anyways. But it means you have that trust and then you believe you can depend on them. So yeah, I think the reason why people are making such a big deal out of it is because Spain are out. And yeah, I mean, that's what's going to happen anyways.
Yeah. Okay, but then this new manager coming in, there is Fuento. Do you know anything about him that you want to
see? It was the former Spain under-21 manager. So now he has been promoted to the first team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he won a silver what's the name now? Silver medal at the Olympics with Spain, I think with their and then I think he also won the under-18s tournament before he moved. So it was under-18s manager before he went to under-21 and now he's with the national team. So I think it's been a step up the past few years for him, a ladder to the next. And I think he also is part of one of the coaching staffs at Alaves. Is that Alaves? I think one Alaves or one team in the La Liga in the La Liga Santander. So I think him being in the national team setup from the start would really help.
Yeah.
because he could really understand how it works better than Luis Enrique. To be honest, Luis Enrique is an exceptional manager. I think we're on that. He's very, very good.
Yeah.
But it's also fine to accept that being a very good club manager does not necessarily mean you are going to have a fantastic national success. Like you're not going to have national success at national team. That's fine. And so I wouldn't be surprised if this guy performs even better than Enrique being the coach of Spain. And then we already know that Spain has an identity. It's an identity nation. They want to play possessive football and possession-based football. And so, I think it's a good appointment looking at the fact that he has been all through the ranks from 16, from under 18 to 21 to the national team. So,
Yeah. Luis Enrique is gone. Do you want him? Let's just say Pep goes. I know you are signing a new contract, but then you take him and City next. I feel like that's what's going to happen.
I think if you have Luis Enrique, I would be good. I think it's actually we all know how good he is. He's possession based. He has that's his ideology. That's what he wants. He's a very good coach. I really love to see his teams play. I really, really love his positional play and how he sets up his team. So I think if Guardiola leaves and Luis Enrique is next, I wouldn't say no. Of course, yeah. I think it's a very, very good replacement. But I might not be surprised if he gets a job before then. So.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move to Africa. This competition, let's just say Africa has really impressed us. Senegal going to the round of 16, even if they lost to England. Well, Morocco in the quarterfinals. Again, Cameroon winning Brazil.
Yeah.
So what do you think African football is starting to improve? Because let's talk about it, because next 4 years World Cup is going to be 48 teams. Our year 9 teams from Africa will be going to the World Cup. So do you think Africa is starting to get into the limelight? Or
I think watching our performances at this World Cup, I feel there is a step up, to be honest. I feel there is a step up, especially when I watched teams like Senegal, Cameroon, and Morocco. I think Morocco has been the standout story so far. I think Ghana also got some really good results against South Korea. And then they also tried their best against Portugal. And I think Tunisia also was able to beat France 1-0, even though they were not able to qualify, unfortunately. And I think if you look at it generally, we've had a very good tournament as Africa, as a continent. Sorry, and I think this is a good sign. I think what I'll be more concerned about is how well do our teams play in CAF, like in the AFCON. Sorry, the next AFCON. I think a very good representation of how we are going to express ourselves in the World Cup, comes from how we play at our own tournament, the AFCON, right? So if we're able to, in the next AFCON, right, if I'm able to see an improved performance from the way that you only have African teams, right, where we all face ourselves, right? Yeah. And then the competition is between ourselves to try to see how we play, because I would like to see more of some really, really good play from African teams. I've heard a lot of times where I sit back, defend, put the ball, direct ball, and all of that. I think we have much more capacity to play better than we can. I think if you see Morocco, even though Morocco has been defensive and all of that, but you can see the structure in their game. You can see the plan. You can see they know what they want to do, and they try to do it as much as they can. I think if you look at Cameroon, I was really impressed with them against Serbia, the Abubakar World Cup goal of the World Cup to me. And Tunisia beating France 1-0. I think that's a very, very huge result for Tunisia. And so Ghana too. I think if you look at Kudus playing for Ghana, and we really have this crop of talent coming out from African teams, and we should do better. We can do better. And I think the next thing for us is how well do we play in a tournament where we are repping Africa? All teams in there are Africans. So how well do we project the kind of football that we're going to bring to the 2026 World Cup as coming with 9 teams? I think with 9 teams going to World Cup, you expect Nigeria to be one of the 9, right? And so, yeah exactly. Because if we're not one of the 9, then we are finished. We are totally finished. And so I feel of recent, we've been able to attract these foreign players. Like, you don't have to go to sign for Italy or England or Spain. You can come to play for your African country and you'll be fine. You could have access to World Cup or win an AFCON, stuff like that. And so when we have these foreign players coming, and then we also have good coaches with bright minds, I think the first place that we are going to see the improvement is from our own tournaments. And so if we can see the next AFCON and we actually see an improvement in the gameplay, then I think we are going to be something good and interesting to watch in the 2026 World Cup.
Yeah, our NFF president has come out to say if Nigeria was in this World Cup could have been our World Cup, could have been our year where we show Africa our football and everything. What do you say about that statement?
I don't believe in ifs.
I mean,
we literally lost to Ghana. I'm so disappointed.
But then that's the painful part, though. We didn't lose to Ghana. We lost on away goals.
And Ghana won on away goals. We lost. We did. We couldn't score. No, I don't even want to hear. I don't want to hear any ifs, especially from Nigerians. What do you mean if? Right? See the players we have. See the crop of players coming out from us. Emmanuel Dennis, Victor Osimhen, Alex Iwobi, Ademola Lookman. You have this guy that plays for Southampton, Joe Aribo. You have Trostekong. You have Chukwueze. You have Moses Simon. And look at this sort of players and look at where they're playing in Europe. Why shouldn't we be at the World Cup? It's bad. It's weird.
Yeah. Mr. Victor Areka said, "Great job, guys. Enjoying the analysis." So let's talk about the quarterfinal now. Tomorrow, Brazil versus Croatia. I know everybody's expecting Brazil to win. But then, do you see any way Croatia could cause an upset?
I really want to see. I really want to see a way. But to be honest, I don't think so. Watching Brazil. I think it's Brazil are not going to find it easy the way they did against Korea. I think when I watched South Korea against Brazil, I was quite disappointed with the tactical setup from South Korea because they tried to play so advanced. They literally left their center, they literally left 3 defenders on one-on-one against Neymar, Vinicius, and Rafinha. What are you thinking? Vinicius alone, you need 2 players on him. That's how good he is. You need your fullback with the center back at that position of that fullback. The 2 of them literally are alive. Because if you doze off for a minute, Vinicius is going to go past. Now imagine you have Vinicius and Neymar and either Richarlison or Rafinha. These guys are some of the best 1-versus-1 dribblers in the world. And they are running towards you, and you have 3 South Korean defenders against 3 of them. It's going to be like a bloodbath. You cannot just escape it. There was this particular ball. Now Richarlison got the ball at the byline, and he almost ran to the box and put that shot unopposed. So he got the shot away. If you look at the goal that Paqueta scored, the cross that Vinicius did, dropped. You literally have to see the way Brazil were feasting in the first half. It could have been 6, it could have been 7 in the first half. And then you saw the way South Korea had to tweak. And then it's the game got tougher and it was more balanced. I would also say it's already 4-0 first half. So what else does Brazil even have to do to stress? They don't have to stress themselves and start looking
I feel like the South Korean manager was like, we're the underdog, so let's just go there, give them a game and just attack them. They won't expect it. Maybe that's what he was planning to do.
Maybe that's what it was. And it looked so helpless from the first minute because Brazil just kept attacking, and it was 3 versus 3. Every time I just saw Brazil counter-attacking against Korea, I was always like this, like, why are you guys doing this to yourself? Like, why do you want Neymar to be with the ball and you have Vinicius and Richarlison running ahead of him? Like, what are you doing? And you have to see the goal that Richarlison scored. Like,
people say that's good of the
tournament. I'm telling you, like the one with the double head-ups, like with the ball, and you saw like 1-2, third man run, Richarlison one-on-one against the keeper. That's a goal. Like, to be honest, I really don't want to like degrade like South Korea so much that I don't get to praise Brazil, because I think Brazil were absolutely exceptional. Aside the fact that Korea actually made the game a little bit easy, that's fine. I think you really have to praise the fact that Brazil were on fire. They played so well, so well. And I think Croatia is going to give them a tougher game than that.
I mean, Casemiro came. Well, before we talk about what Casemiro said, let's talk about Brazil celebration. I mean, we in Hungary we use ITV too, because so our analysis are ranking them. All those people that I say you don't like. Well, then Roy Keane was saying that the celebrations were a little bit too much, because you score the first one, you do the celebration, you dance, you jump, yes. Second one, yes, you do. But then third and fourth, why are you still doing it? And you know how to bring the manager to do the same celebration with you guys. What do you think about it? Do you think? Because personally, I feel like that's being disrespectful. Like, you score 1-2 years, okay. Well, after that, just score, celebrate, do your normal celebration and go. Or what do you think?
No, I don't think so. I think no. I think we all know. I think the first thing is we know who Brazil is. We know the kind of players that they have. We know if Ronaldo scores, he's going to dance. We all know that right from start. If Jesus scores, he's going to do like this and dance. If Paqueta scores, Paqueta is like the most annoying, because he's going to do the full dance. Paqueta especially. If Neymar scores, if Vinicius scores, any of them that scores, they don't care. They're going to dance. And then you now have the whole squad of dancers and Brazilians, and you're expecting them not to dance. Like, if Brazil scores a goal, everybody in Brazil is dancing at that moment. And that's the expression of joy, because that's just the country. And that's the football is like one of their strongest sports. Like, that's what we all know Brazil for. They are so good at samba football. They are so good at football. And that's what gives them joy. And if it's a club football match, I would probably say it's probably disrespectful, because it's a club match. You know, all of you are from several nationalities. You don't really have so much in common except that you all play for a football club. You are representing your country, and you don't want these guys to show the joy that they have for scoring for their country. That's weird. You shouldn't have the right to tell people when to celebrate and when not to. And I think after the match, I saw like a report like Brazilian players trying to teach some of those South Korean players some of the dance moves that they made and all of that. You know, football is not so meant to be uptight, especially when you're playing at the World Cup for your country once in every 4 years. Like, you shouldn't make it so, I don't know. I don't like listening to Roy Keane, especially as a pundit. I feel, nope, it's a very emotional.
And that's why Roy Keane will say, I have 11 prem, some of these players don't have prem. So
nobody cares, honestly. Like, nobody cares. You can put your prem in your pocket and I feel there is absolutely no reason why Korea, like, I don't think South Korea should feel it. Like, I don't think they will probably find it disrespectful, right? Because that's just how it is. That's what we know Brazil for. And Brazilians are not going to. They will tell you, if you score 15 goals, they're going to do 15 different dances.
No, but then GB, bring the manager to dance too. Like, come on, like.
I guess the manager not the Brazilian.
I don't know. I guess a part of your point, but then just
to be honest, I think there is not so much of a big deal. Like I said, I think if it was a Champions League match, I wouldn't expect your whole team with your manager to be dancing. Like, why are you dancing in the Champions League match? This is a World Cup match. You are representing your country, like, once in every 4 years. Like, that's huge. And if you really want to dance, please go ahead and dance. You should be able to do what you want to.
Okay. So let's talk about what Casemiro said. Casemiro said that they talk about this in the dressing room, that they feel sorry for other teams they're playing, because most of their front players are dream players and everything. So no matter how you defend against them, they're still always going to score. So they feel like this is their year. Can you say about that statement? Are they being
I
too
don't know.
cocky? Are they being
I
too
think
cocky
it's
at
fine
the
to
early
be
moment?
cocky, right? I'm not against you being cocky as long as you can show it on the pitch.
Yeah.
That's it. As much as Ibrahimovic is one of the most annoying footballers, I absolutely love him because I feel if you want to talk, please do. Don't talk and don't do. Please talk and do. That's the most important part. When you talk and you don't do, then you look like a clown. Like, what are you saying? If there is no, if you are saying we can score against every team and then you go ahead to win the World Cup, well, yeah, sure, please. It's yours. It's because you are the best. Football matches are not won in the press conferences or in the interviews. They're won on the pitch. So if you are able to defend your words with your performances, then yes. I think a very good example of what I'm saying is the Canadian coach. I'm saying we're going to play. I've forgotten the way he said it against Croatia or something, and then it got wiped, and then it looked like an absolute embarrassment.
Yeah.
Do you get? And so that's an example of talk and not do. But if you are going to talk and do, please go ahead.
Okay. So let's talk about. So what's your score prediction for the match, Brazil versus Croatia?
I think for the match, my score prediction would be 2-0 Brazil.
2-0 Brazil. Before we continue this video, please don't forget FarmView is sponsoring a football tournament on the 17th and 18th of December called Free Kick. So please, if you are interested, please just try and message us on our platform and we'll get you connected to it. On our social media platform, I will get you connected to it. Let's talk about the next match, Argentina versus Netherlands. This match, personally, I feel like Netherlands are going to win, but then let's see your analysis on it. Where do you think the match can be won and where do you think the match can be lost?
To be honest, I think this is one of the most traditional World Cup matches. When you see Netherlands play North America, against Argentina, you're like, yeah, this is a match that would have probably been hot in 1980 something, and it's still hot in 2000. They faced themselves 7 times, and I think the most times a country has faced another country in the history of the World Cup is 8. And so it shows how grand this match is. And yeah, personally, I might want to tip a little bit to the side of Argentina because of Messi.
Yeah.
But looking at it from a neutral point, I think they're equally matched. I think it's a game that could go either side, right? Because let's look at Netherlands so far in this World Cup. I think after the Brazil game, Luis van Gaal said something about people are all they're talking about Brazil. And it was like, I feel we've played as well as Brazil has done so far in this tournament. I think we've been as entertaining as they've been. Said something like that. And then he said something about the tactical side of his game and how Netherlands have been able to come out and show some aspects that nobody has expected. It could be mind games, I don't know. Because if Netherlands able to beat Argentina, then they get to face Brazil if Brazil wins Russia. And yeah, so I think tactically, Netherlands has been one of the most interesting sides at this tournament so far. Very good, they've pressed. I think they utilized a very good mid block, sitting off. I think 4-4-2 or 4-3-3. I don't know if it's 4-4-2 mid block press against them USA. And I think they did that to some success. I think they were able to play out some very, very good moves. I think the goal that Blaine scored, you could see that this is a goal from the training ground. Like, it was quite obvious that this is a very well choreographed move and it's actually a very good tactical side. But I think Argentina has some. You cannot write Argentina off. I think they're good enough to go there and get the win. I think so. Okay. I think Netherlands so far with De Jong and De Jong being able to help them bring the ball out from the back, and coming getting to play, and also Ake and Van Dijk and Timber. They've had a good tournament so far, especially with Gakpo. I think Gakpo has been playing so well so far. And yeah, I also think Netherlands have not faced an equal team where there's been a bit of a talent match so far. Same thing with Argentina anyways. And they've not really had any shock the way Argentina really had the one against Saudi Arabia, like brought them to their senses, like, God, like we could actually not qualify from the group stages if we don't play well,
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have a player like Messi, with the way Argentina does, it could really make you a favorite.
Yeah.
Like, he's able to bring that aspect into the game. I think watching Argentina so far and what Messi has been contributing to the team. So I really feel it's an evenly matched game. I think anybody could actually be able to win. And I think if Argentina are able to get some of the chances that USA saw, especially in the first half against the Netherlands, I think Netherlands could even not could be out of sight before Netherlands actually realizes. But USA were able to score their chances, and Netherlands got better and grew more into the game, and then they were able to get their win from it. So if we actually look at it, I think it's a very, very evenly matched game. I think that's my game that I look forward to in this tournament, because I think they're actually on the same level and on the same par alongside England, France. And so yeah, I expect it to be one that is very, 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 very interesting. And yeah.
Yeah, when you talk about managers that are good at the club level and not good at the international player, let's talk about players, because Memphis Depay, I do really rate him when it comes to club football. But then this World Cup, Netherlands have been trying to integrate him into the team because he got injured at first, but then they've been trying to integrate him. And then against USA, you could see the importance of Memphis Depay. What do you think about that? And what does Memphis Depay give Netherlands that other strikers that they have to give him?
Yeah. So I think what Memphis Depay brings to Netherlands is the fact that he's able to play as a front nine and then drop deep, move into other spaces, occupy other spaces, and allow other players to get into scoring positions. Like, he's able to drop deep and then move into the midfield, or you see him sometimes he drifts wide, and then it allows other players to be able to get into scoring position. Players like Gakpo, and then other players are playing in the front three, or coming from the midfield. And so the ability of Memphis to be able to communicate with his teammates, create space for others, something very similar to what Jesus does at Arsenal. Being able to drift wide, come deep to collect the ball. Depay is a very good dribbler. He's very strong on the ball. I think is a very good dribbler. I think we can all accept that right from his PSV days.
Yeah.
And then being able to float around in spaces, identify spaces around the opposition box, or get into goal scoring positions himself. I think if you look at the goal that I scored, the first goal that I scored against USA, it was not even it was not inside the box when the move for the goal was happening. I think it was coming, so it was like a counter attack, and then it was arriving into the box when the quarterback came into him, and then he scored. If you actually saw it, so it was not like it was the number 9 in the box. It was actually arriving into the box when the quarterback came in, before he fired into the bottom corner. So I think Depay being able to offer you such tactical flexibility is one of the reasons why Van Gaal really likes him, because he is able to bring others into play. The way Kane also is able to improve England's flexibility whenever Kane plays, because he's able to drop deep, move wide when is needed. And so that's one thing I see that Depay really brings, and is as important as De Jong to that side, if not even more. I think it could go ahead to also be the highest goal scorer. I don't know if it's the top scorer of all time yet. I don't know yet, but I think he's so important to Netherlands and how they play.
Yeah. Okay. So what about this? What about how? Why do you think he's successful both at club level and both at?
Because if you look at Van Gaal is a very traditional manager. If you look at it, I think one of the issues that Van Gaal has always had is when he goes in recent times, when he goes to teams, you see some players are very skillful and they have a lot of flair, complaining about not being able to play to the best of what they want under Van Gaal. I think Van Gaal feeded a question in his last press conference against Di Maria, saying it's the worst coach he ever played in because it was never here. And Van Gaal was like, yeah, I think Memphis also said that about me once, and now we are the best of friends. Because if you're a very skillful player, you love flair, all of that, Van Gaal is a traditional manager right from his Ajax 1999 days. Like is a very so it is possession based, but he also has a lot of strong ideologies that it doesn't differ from. And so you have managers like that they are so, I would say, traditional, and then it's easy for them to bring that sort of play into the national team, coupled with the fact that he's experienced. He has so much experience. He's been a manager at the top level for over 20 years. And so he's able to bring that into the national team too. And don't forget, he was also able to coach Netherlands in 2014. I think so. Was it 2014? When they beat Spain 5-1 in the first 2014. And then I think he also
even got them to the finals of 2010.
Was it the one that was the coach in 2010?
Yeah, it should be no.
Okay, so now we've seen that he already has like enough experience with Netherlands, and then he's able to bring, and he's also a very traditional manager, I would say. That old school football philosophy, possession based, yes, but not so much of positional flexibility and players being able to express themselves in a positional game. So it might be a little bit rigid and all of that. So yeah, it's one of the best managers of the last of this generation. I mean, look at in the last 20 years, Van Gaal is up there, and so I think he's been able to translate this into his national team success because of one or two of these reasons.
Okay. So let's talk about Lionel Messi. I mean, this World Cup he has been on fire, scoring goals, assisting. People have said because he doesn't have to track back, the midfield has always been protecting him since this World Cup started and everything. But then yes, we all expect that because he's getting older and everything. What his job is to provide goals and score goals for Argentina. But then he has had a fantastic World Cup. What do you have to say about that? And I know he's your goat and he's my goat also. So just talk about how good Messi has been.
I think he's been exceptional. I think also Argentina has sort of set up themselves to bring out the best of Messi. Yeah. And I think when you're able to bring out the best of a player like that, you get to reap the rewards. You know, if you're able to find a way to bring out the best of Messi, you are able to say, okay, fine, we want to put you in positions where you're able to offer that amount of vision and goal scoring and playmaking that nobody else has. And we want to put you in those positions. You know, wants De Paul to mop up after you. So when you try to play these your little 1-2s and then you lose the ball, you want De Paul to be so close to you that it can help you recover it. We want Alvarez to make those runs between the center backs so much that are concentrated about him, and you can find pocket of space in between the defensive line and then the defensive midfield. Because there's that space between that back four or back three, and then that defensive midfielder, that little zone. I think that's a very messy zone where he's able to like take the ball. If he wants to shoot, he moves further. If he wants to play that wide ball. So the way Argentina is set up is almost to bring out the best of Messi. If you look at it, if Messi's in possession of the ball, you see Acuna, the left back of Argentina, ready to make those overlapping runs so that Messi can switch and then switch the ball to the far side to Acuna. Or you see Julian Alvarez making those darting runs to distract the center backs or the full backs, making those runs in between so that Messi can have more space and time to shoot on the ball. You see Di Maria or if it's Papu Gomez staying wide so that he can always have an option to pass to. You can see McAllister being close. You can see De Paul mopping after him. You can see like the way players pop out to allow Messi to play those 1-2s. And so it's obvious that Scaloni is ready to build a side around Messi and at the same time not entirely focus on him, right? And so when you're able to when you're able to create the best condition for your best players, we said like no matter how good you might be tactically, you need to get your best players to play for you because they are the ones that can make a difference. You can be so tactically good and then you need that moment of brilliance. I think Messi in his Spain side would be devastating. Like with the way Spain has played so far, with the amount of position that they have, imagine Messi in that kind of side. It would be absolutely devastating. So when you have a side that you're able to, even Ronaldo, when he still used to be like so good, like I think Ronaldo is still good. Don't let me say it like that. When Ronaldo in his earlier days with Portugal, when especially in that Euros 2016, at some point when the team was built around getting the best out of Ronaldo, you could see like you are able to bring your best players to where they want to play, and then they're able to give you what makes them stand out, And I think that would be an important difference for Argentina in this tournament, And then, we really have to wait and see. But I know that there would be some points, a match, where someone has to tell Messi to, someone has to take control at some point. Messi cannot do it every time. It's literally impossible. Mm-hmm. And that's why you have the rest of 10 footballers on the pitch. So that's where I am bothered the most. Like, when it's time, would other guys step up? I would like to see that.
Yeah, that's why I predict that Netherlands will win, because I don't feel like Netherlands would Messi tomorrow, and Argentina will not have any end product.
I don't know. I think I don't know. I really can't say.
Okay, so
but I think it's something we to be so like we'll be. Yeah. I don't know. Everybody wants to see that match.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your score prediction tomorrow?
I'm going to favor Argentina. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think Argentina are going to win 2-1.
Okay, I'm going Netherlands to win 2-1, but extra time. I feel like it will be 1-1.
Okay.
Let's go extra time. But then let's see. So let's talk about Morocco versus Portugal. I mean, the support for Morocco, this World Cup has been crazy. Over here, over in Qatar and everything. The whole Arab nation are saying they are behind Morocco. Africans are behind Morocco. Some Africans tomorrow might debate and say, "Oh, I'm behind Cristiano Ronaldo." But let's talk about Ronaldo first before we go into the match. A match played between Portugal and South Korea, they removed him. To be honest, when I think about it now, there was no need for Ronaldo to get angry being removed, because that match was not that important. And then he got angry, he stormed off, and then the manager benched him the next game. A player that benched Ronaldo came and scored that trick. Everything looks like it's going bad for Ronaldo. And then Ronaldo, after the match, went clapped for the fans. I was the first to go inside. And then people have questioned, why did he do that? But then when you hear people questioning it, you ask yourself, why did he actually do that? Because just imagine Ramos going into the dressing room and seeing Ronaldo. It's like a child coming from a party and you see his father and he's like, oh, okay, let me just try and behave. But then what do you think? What do you think about Ronaldo's attitude?
I think I think if you look at it deeply, it's somehow understandable. Imagine being at the top of football for over 15 to 20 years, where your name has always been on the team sheet, no matter where you are. And then now it's starting to look different.
Yeah.
Because for you to be a Ronaldo, your level of ego must be huge. I don't care. You must have a very big ego for you to be Ronaldo. For you to be Messi, your level of ego must be huge. I don't believe if someone says, Messi is so humble, Messi doesn't say anything. It's a lie. He has his ego.
Yeah.
We saw a very little part of it when he wanted to leave Barcelona at one point, and Bartomeu, they didn't allow him to leave, and he did his interview. If you remember, he did an interview that time. Even though, okay, fine, he didn't do as much damage as Ronaldo did in his interview to Piers Morgan. But he still said something. He said some things about Bartomeu that I didn't like, And people were like, yeah, it's Messi. You cannot be that good and stay at that level for this number of years and not have an ego. It's impossible. And so I think, it's fine. I think I sort of understand the fact that Ronaldo has, what's happening? I've been at this level for so long, and now it's looking like, am I actually dispensable? It's looking for the first time it's dispensable.
Yeah, it's looking like he's not handling his retirement very well. I feel like he doesn't still believe that, no, my career is not ended. I still want to give my best.
I mean, it's fine because I think because if you put Ronaldo in a chance to score, he's going to score. Even till now. You don't lose your goal scoring instinct. What you might find difficult to get is getting into those goal scoring positions because of your speed or your ability to run past defenders. One thing that helps Mbappe now is his speed. Mbappe is able to get into some goal scoring positions because of his speed. And then when you get into good goal scoring positions, your ability to score goals, no, I don't say ability to score goals here. I think the closer you are to the goalposts, the more likely you are to score, right? I mean, that's it. That's why there's SG. And the closer, the more you have good goal scoring positions, the more likely you are to score, right? And so when Ronaldo is not able to get into this as much as this goal scoring positions as he used to because of age, speed and all of that, that means he's not able to score as many goals as he used to. That means he probably wants to try to shoot from outside the box, and then it's blocked by a defender. He wants to do some things and it's not working. It's not coming off. I think it's understandable to some point. But I really think he has to do better at handling things. I think it's his country. I don't think it's going to. In most of these players, they love their country. It's like absolutely. And then I also look at it like 70% of the players that Ronaldo are playing with right now, when Ronaldo made his debut, those guys are probably like 5 or 6 or 7 years old. And so everybody looks up to him in that squad. Everybody. And really, I don't think whatever the media says is really going to change the idea of who Ronaldo is to the Portugal squad. Everybody grew up watching Ronaldo. And so the fact that you're saying Ronaldo doesn't care about the country, I don't think Rafael Leao or because Gonzalo Ramos has already scored an hat-trick is going to say, nah, I have to start ahead of Ronaldo. Or, these guys have grown up idolizing this guy. He has been the go-to guy for Portugal in the past few years. I'm not a Ronaldo guy. I'm not entirely no. But you cannot deny, like you really cannot deny the truth, like when it's in plain sight, right? And so that being said, I think Portugal without Ronaldo could be a more functional side.
Yeah,
they could be. They could be. But Ronaldo is going to start in the next match.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Morocco now. Morocco has considered only one goal in the tournament, and that is an own goal. They have the best defense at the World Cup in this tournament. Tactically, how good do you think they have been? And
they've been good. They've been good. I feel they've been able to set themselves up in such a way that they've had their best players playing so well. So now, if you look at their wingers, if you look at Ziyech and Boufal is a very good dribbler. I'm not so impressed with his output after dribbling, but he's one of the best dribblers you have there. It's like my Charisma or sometimes my Adama Traore. These guys or Benrahma. These guys can dribble, and then what happens after the dribble, God knows. And then you have Ziyech, so good on set pieces, especially if you're a team that you get to sit deep. You don't get to have so many chances, and you have a very good set piece taker like Ziyech that could whip the ball into the box from any place around there. Deep free kick, corner kicks, penalties. You have Ziyech. You have Amrabat has been so exceptional in this World Cup. Their defensive midfielder, very, very, very good. It's been able to break up. I think Amrabat has brought back this destroyer role to the defensive midfield. That kind of thing that we used to see Kante do at some point, right? It's like what you just do is you hunt these players down, you get the ball, and you lay off the pass to someone that is going to be more creative with the ball. That's it. You are there, you are breathing at the back of their necks. Whenever they look back, they know you are at their back. You are collecting the ball, you are nipping the ball, and you are passing, short pass. Who is going to be more creative? Let's move. So exceptional. Defensive-wise, so good. And I think Morocco has been so good. I've been impressed entirely by how good they've been. That being said,
the fans have been really good so for them. Because today I was hearing a podcast saying if this World Cup was held in another country, Morocco will not be where they are. So just a break and continue what you're saying.
There are always so many ifs in football. I really don't like to hear them. I really don't like to hear them. I think the fact that the World Cup is in Qatar has been able to help Morocco have more of their fans over. But I mean, look at Argentina. If you see the amount of Argentinians in the stadiums each match, you'll be surprised. These guys are so many, like so many.
Yeah, but like when they had less fans than when they had the lesser fans, did you win against Saudi Arabia? So you can see
sort of. I mean, you cannot remove the essence of or the importance of the fans and the kind of atmosphere that they bring. And I think what really made the difference in the Saudi Arabia matches, the fact that Saudi Arabia were able to get a goal and they get another one so quickly. Like, despite not being the one in control of the game, it's erupted the whole, not even the stadium, the whole football world. Everybody at that point were like, go on, Saudi, we want you to win this. These guys are on a 36 match unbeaten run. You guys are going to be the one to spoil this. And I cannot imagine the atmosphere that was in that stadium, like especially from Saudi fans and even neutral fans that would be supporting Saudi Arabia. And yeah, the fans, you cannot underestimate the importance of, no, you cannot. You cannot underestimate the importance of the fans.
Okay, so your prediction on tomorrow's match, on Saturday's match, Morocco versus Portugal.
Against Portugal, I think Portugal could win. I think if Ronaldo plays, Morocco could find it a little bit easier to defend against Portugal. But the fact that once Ronaldo is not there, there is a little bit of unpredictability that comes with Portugal, with the João Felix and Ramos. Did you see the first goal that Ramos scored against them? That was so good. That was so tight. Yeah. It's one of those goals that you probably think it's the side netting until you see the player celebrating. You're like, this ball actually scored. And then so I think Ronaldo, we know, is a kind of player that likes. He doesn't he doesn't consider himself to be the full-on 9. He wants to occupy that left central space. He wants to come in from the right sometimes to get into those positions. And then you see when a full-on striker like Ramos plays, the way he gets into the box and some of those shots he's able to pull off, as a 9, you see the difference. And him being able to switch places with João Felix and Octavia and Bruno Fernandes and, everybody in the front line. I feel if Fernando Santos starts with that lineup, Morocco could find it easier, harder to defend because Spain were so rigid in some ways against Morocco. But when you have that fluidity and movements, the movements in the front. Yeah. So I think if you have a lot of movement, the way Portugal were able to show in a match against Switzerland, I think Morocco could not I've almost made a mistake. Morocco could have it a little bit more difficult compared to when you have a Ronaldo figure there and you're like, okay, this is Ronaldo. And then we take him, try as much as possible to stop him. That being said, Ronaldo could start against Morocco and be the one to make the difference. Yeah. He's still that good. He's still that good. So yeah. That being said, I expect Portugal to win. But I think it's going to be a little bit. I think 3-0.
3-0 Portugal. Wow.
Yeah.
You really don't trust Morocco.
I think this might just be the end to the beautiful story. I'm happy. I'm happy to be proved wrong. I'm happy to be proved wrong. But I think this might just be the end.
Any Morocco player, if you're watching it, don't worry. If you go out on Saturday, we are still backing you. You made us proud and everything. So.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so let's move to the main events: England versus France, Mbappe versus Kyle Walker, Giroud versus Harry Maguire, Dembele versus Luke Shaw, Foden versus Theo Hernandez, and Harry Kane versus Varane. But let's look at this. The quality in these two teams is there. Bellingham has been firing, Mbappe has been firing. Just talk to us about the match and what you expect to see from England and what you expect to see from France.
My first hot take, I think England is going to win. That's aside. That's my first hot take.
I feel like if Southgate chickens out again and goes for three at the back, I feel like that'll be so demoralizing because
I think three at the back might just work because if you have Dembele and Mbappe on the wings, if you really want to find a way to have fullbacks that could be dedicated to them, unlike when you have wing backs, unlike when you have two fullbacks and then once you're able to France play in a way so that they occupy one part of the field and try to leave Dembele hugging the touchline one-on-one against the fullback. And Dembele is one of the best one-on-one dribblers in football, right? And then also do that on Dembele's side, leave Mbappe one-on-one against the fullback. So when you have these two fast, pacey, dangerous wingers, I wouldn't be surprised if Southgate wants to use a 3-5 to a 3-4-3 where he has probably Walker and Trippier or Walker and Luke Shaw. I think Walker is going to start.
Yeah, Walker is
I
going
think
to
Walker is
start.
going to start. I think Walker is going to start against Mbappe.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I think I would not be surprised if he uses. So he doing that might, when you have a wing back and you also have a full back at that position, so a center back, a left or right center back. So you have like two players being able to occupy that side, because Mbappe is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy is something else. Like it looks something. It looks. I'm out of superlatives for him right now, and he looks like exceptional. And so when you have Mbappe and Dembele at the wings, you really want to find a way to neutralize them. I don't think there's any way to neutralize a player like Mbappe anyway. You might be able to hold him off as much as possible, and then he pops in 70 minutes or 80 minutes to like do one or two dribbles up top corner. That's it. There are players like that. That's how Ronaldo and Messi have been in the last decade.
Yeah.
You really cannot stop them for so long. The quality shows.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that being said, France have some weaknesses that I feel have not been exploited because they've not met a team that, in terms of talent, they're on the same match, like on the same level, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think same thing with England. I don't think England has also played a team that has been able to match them talent-wise. So I think in this case, I favor England to go through because I really see the fact that Deschamps and Southgate are two coaches that, despite the talent that they have in their hands, they're not going to ball out attacking the game.
Yeah.
If France is going to sit in a mid block, France is not going to press you high. England is not going to press you high. And so there is going to be that drop off from the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I still, one way, I think Kane dropping deep and allowing the likes of Saka or Foden or Rashford or Sterling, I don't know who's going to start among all of them.
On that side, do you think Rashford should start or do you think Foden should start? Because I feel like England are going to be more on the counter. So like they'll need the pace of Rashford to always to be there. But then who do you think should start? Do you think Foden should start? And also why I don't want to at the back, I want you to look at this because I feel like one of the greatest assets from England this World Cup has been their midfield. Like since when you kept Henderson, Rice, and Bellingham, it has been when you play three at the back, you just you have to remove one of them, and then that's why I don't want it to right
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. I think everything you said is right. I think when you have three at the back, you might get to see less of those long busting ball carries that Bellingham has been doing so far, being able to carry the ball from the midfield and lay it off to a better position teammate or even do the final pass himself. I think that's one of it. I think Anderson has been able to set the stage for Bellingham to play his best because he allows him, he covers those spaces that Bellingham gives and is able to track over those spaces, and Bellingham is able to get into the best positions that he wants to be. I think three at the back might be able to eliminate some of this, But I think it's a trade-off. Rashford, I think this game is really set for Rashford to come off the bench. I could really imagine if Rashford is full on confidence right now. I could imagine a full fit Rashford occupying the spaces left when Theo Hernandez probably comes up to play on the overlap with Mbappe. Like I can imagine Rashford coming in and attacking that space aggressively.
Yeah.
Like I think that sounds really exciting. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mount starts in the 3-4-3 match. I wouldn't be surprised if Mount comes into the England setup.
Okay, so you think the front line should be Harry Kane, Mount, and Saka?
I don't think it should be, but I think it could be.
Okay.
I think it could be. I think Mount in such games, you're able to see this pressing part of Mount. I think that's a lot of reasons why all these coaches like him. He's so tactically aware and he's able to do some of the things you want him to do. He might not be the most flashy, do the final passes, but he will do what you want him to do. And that's why a lot of managers really love him. And I think you might get to see Mount in this game. You might not even see Foden. I won't be surprised if Foden doesn't start. But I think Saka is going to start. Saka is going to start. Probably Sterling. I don't know how well Sterling has been able to train with
Sterling joins the team on Friday. So I don't think.
Okay. So I don't know how much he's going to play with them. I think Sterling might start if he's able to get up to speed. And if he's not, I think Mount might come into the game. But yeah, I think England will be able to exploit some of the spaces. I personally do not see France as invisible right now. With Mbappe, they are they have a world-class player in their hands that could turn the game anytime.
Mm-hmm.
I still think England, in terms of the overall squad, I think England might be able to beat them to this. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
But I still think England, I fancy England.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about England. Let's talk about France. Where can they hurt England?
Yeah. I mean, they can hurt England with Mbappe first.
Yeah.
And then the ability of Dembele in those one-on-one situations could be very important. So we've seen a lot of times Dembele being able to beat his man and get that cross into the box. A lot of this, and Giroud has been exceptional so far. He's been able to feed off those services, those true passes from Mbappe and crosses from Dembele. He's been able to feed off those passes. Unlike the last World Cup where he was not able to score any goal all through the tournament. But now it's different. You've seen Giroud scoring those goals.
Yeah.
So I think Rabiot has been on fire. He's been playing exceptionally well so far. I've been so impressed. I never expected him to be one of the starter performers. And Griezmann has been a silent performer. He's been playing so well, occupying almost every place in the pitch, giving those passes, doing it relentlessly, selflessly. And if England are not careful, if they free off Griezmann and say he's not the most dangerous, they will be surprised at how much is going to hurt them. How much is going to hurt them. So, I think France also have enough players. Leo Hernandez, since he's been in the squad, he's been good. His understanding and relationship with Mbappe on that swing has been exceptional. They understand themselves. They move at the same time. They move in sync. Exactly.
Okay. Ayodele Adeyomo said amazing insight. Hold on. So let's talk. Okay. So your score prediction. You said England is going to win, but
yeah, I feel England is. I mean, I don't know why. Maybe this could be a personal sentiment, but yeah, I would tip England, and I think Southgate is going to play soccer ball.
Yeah.
England fans are going to be so annoyed. Why is this guy playing soccer ball with it? Yeah. I think it could even go as far as penalties this match. I think it's going to be a very tight one. I really don't want to say a score right now, but it could go as far as penalties even. Yeah, it could be that tight.
Yeah, hopefully it's coming home. So
I don't know what home is, but home is Nigeria.
Okay, before we close the show, are we going to agree that if Ronaldo or Messi wins this World Cup, they are the greatest footballer of all time?
I don't know.
I don't
know
if Ronaldo wins it, would you agree? Would you agree and say, "Oh yeah"? Okay.
Ronaldo wins it, I would not agree. No.
I feel like there's different. I feel like there's difference between greatest and difference between best. Like to me, I always say it. Ronaldo might be the greatest player of all time, but Messi is the best player I've ever seen on football pitch. That's where I always classify them because of Ronaldo's achievements and the fact that he does it on and off the pitch. But then that's just to me though. But like, so you don't agree that if Ronaldo wins the World Cup?
No, I agree that if Messi wins it, then it's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, but
I mean, if Ronaldo wins the World Cup, he's up there. He has the arguments to prove. You've won everything. You've won the Champions League like 5 times. You've won the Serie A. You've won La Liga. You've won the Premier League. You've done all this. You've been the highest goal scorers in each of these leagues. You've collected the Ballon d'Or like 5 times. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not a Ronaldo fan, but if you add the World Cup to that, that's
okay. Now, just before the World Cup ends, which career would you rather have, Messi or Ronaldo?
I would rather have any of. Like, I could choose any of them.
If you had to choose one,
I would choose the Messi. Like, I'm a Messi guy.
I just feel like yes, I'm a Messi guy, yes, but like it's just like the way people always argue about the greatest and this. I feel like this greatest and this best. Like Messi is the best, Ronaldo is the greatest. But then
I don't know why Ronaldo is the greatest anyway. But yeah, I mean, if you actually have your point, like if you actually say you have a cause to believe in like Ronaldo being the best, yeah, I mean you are true to some points because nobody else has done what he has done. The number of goals he has scored, nobody else has it. Yeah, even Messi. But yeah, Messi has played less number of games, but that doesn't mean he has the same number of goals, right? You have to get there. You have to score the goals. So yeah.
Because I was just really thinking about it today. Mbappe and Haaland. These are the two people that we feel that are going to be the good of the next generation. But then Mbappe already has a World Cup. I don't think in Haaland's life he's going to ever have a World Cup.
I don't think he's going to win the World Cup with Norway. I don't think he's going to win the World Cup with
Norway. Always bring him down in the argument between Mbappe and Haaland. That's what I was thinking about.
I think Haaland and Mbappe's argument is different, right? Because Haaland is so much of just a goal scorer, and Mbappe is just well-rounded. Now, it's going to come to a point where with goals, if Haaland keeps scoring at this rate, at some point he's going to probably win the Ballon d'Or at some point, because you cannot keep scoring at this rate and don't win it at some point. But when I watch Mbappe play, Haaland is in Man City and I love him, absolutely. But Mbappe gives me this feeling when he plays that Haaland doesn't. Like when you see Mbappe on the ball, it makes like, it's the kind of player that you want to stand on your feet and like, what is he going to do next?
What is he going to do? Yeah.
But the kind of feeling Haaland gives you is, you are looking at the time in the stadium, it's 90 minutes, you're looking at Haaland on the pitch and you're like, this guy could still get the goal, I don't care. You know, that's kind of, so I think the argument that Mbappe and Haaland is was if they get to that stage, because I think there's still a long way for them to get to that consistency, at that stage, it's just going to be that feel like I described it. You give the ball to Mbappe and you're on your feet, you're like, what's going to do next? Anytime, any minutes, you are eager to see what he does next. But with Haaland, you look up in the stadium to that time and you're like, it's 90 minutes. This guy could get the goal. I don't know how he's going to do it. He could score with his head, with his leg, with his hand, with his stomach. It's just a goal scorer. It's so good, efficient goal scorer. So yeah, I mean, if they keep up the consistency, we'll get to understand how well we can support one player over the other. But let's get to that point first.
Okay. So before we move, while others were focusing on the World Cup, Madrid and PSG were fighting over Endrick, and we've gotten the year we go from Fabrizio. Why do you think no English player was going for him and no English club was going for him, and the money that Real Madrid are playing, I earned over 60 million from a 60-year-old kid in Brazil? What do you think about the player?
I don't really know much about Endrick, to be honest. I think there's a lot of hype about him, and I think for that hype to be there, that means he must have been doing something exceptional, right? Like for you to have that amount of hype, generate interest from Real Madrid, Barcelona at probably 16 or 17 years, that means you must be doing something really right. I don't think English players are probably going to go for that. If you look at it, how many times have you seen an English club buy a foreign prodigy, like a player that it's so touted, like this is probably going to be the next hot thing? You don't see English clubs do that. There's a point, it was Odegaard. Everybody was like, this is Odegaard, this guy is 15 years old, grab him now. It's going to be the next hot thing, you know? And Real Madrid bought in that time, and now in his prime stage of his career is already in England. So English teams are like, no, don't worry. We'll wait for them when they are at that point where we want them. Yeah, starting out and all of that. You'll probably not see an English club in the conversation until 2 seasons or 3 seasons, and then he's already known on the European stage, and they're like, okay, fine, now let's get him. You know, I think that's more related to how all these English clubs, how they operate. More than with Real Madrid and Barcelona, they're ready to take that risk. We've seen Barcelona take that risk with Neymar, and it paid off. We've seen them take that risk with Ronaldo to some point, and it paid off. And then we've seen Real Madrid take that risk on Vinicius and Rodrigo, and it's paying off. So yeah.
Okay, so we've come to the end of this show. GB, thank you again for joining us. We had a very wonderful show, and any sign off before we leave?
Yeah, thank you so much. I really want Messi to win the World Cup, and I'm so happy that some of the comments that we got, from the people that I probably know one or two, and that's so exciting for the person to come out here and watch our content. That's so cool. Yeah, it's good.
Okay, thank you very much. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I promise you we'll bring more content. The Premier League is coming back in 2 weeks' time not 2 weeks, sorry, December 26th. Boxing Day. Premier League is coming back, so we'll have more content. And please don't the free kick tournaments sponsored by FanView and some other this thing. It's called Free Kick Lagos. Sorry, by the way, it's called Free Kick Lagos. And please don't forget to turn up. And you can also buy a team. And I promise it's going to be a great tournament. And yeah, see you soon. And this is goodbye.
Ciao. Ciao. Bye, guys.
Yeah, GB, thank you.